What's going on, everyone? Welcome to the Investing Bros Show. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a headline that is getting a lot of attention here recently. And it's all about the relationship of this recent bridge between Cardano and Bitcoin. Charles Hoskinson has broken his silence on this. Of course, only a couple of weeks ago saying that Bitcoin was no longer needed in the future and eventually Cardano would surpass it. Now he's changing his tunes, talking about how the combination of Bitcoin and Cardano could be the biggest thing in the crypto space we will ever see. At the time of recording this video, Bitcoin has been breaking out, getting above $71,000. Cardano, on the other hand, still kind of trudging along that 34-cent line. Will we see a big boost come to Cardano as we are seeing in Bitcoin? I'm going to tell you all about that and a whole lot more, but make sure to go ahead and smash that like button, hit subscribe, and first, we got to roll the intro. Well, everybody, before we get going, I wanted to start off by asking you, do you guys like money? Do you want to make some money? Well, I got a really easy, simple solution for you right now. Check out the link in the description down below. We have two exchanges we're partnered with as we're trading throughout this market, Blofin and CoinW. But a recent move that we are making is that if you sign up with one of our exchanges and begin trading today, you will be entered for a monthly $500 giveaway. That's absolutely right. These are not only great exchanges with no KYC, no VPN required. You can trade hundreds of different altcoins on heavy leverage, but also you get the chance to win up to $500 monthly. Go sign up with them down below. With that said, let's go ahead and get into the details of the article here. Again, Cardano's Hoskinson turns bullish on Bitcoin, predicting Bitcoin DeFi will eclipse that of Ethereum and Solana. This is in reference to a recent news headline that we now see Cardano working to become the smart contract solution to Bitcoin. This is something that Bitcoin was never good at before. Bitcoin is a great storage of wealth, but never competed with the likes of Ethereum or Solana when it comes to the rest of the Web3 space with smart contracts, so on and so forth. But now, with this collaboration, we are hearing rumblings and explanations that this changes the game completely. And again, Hoskinson with some hot words here saying that this relationship is a threat to Ethereum and Solana. But if you're confused on the details, let's get into them and I'll kind of break down what you need to know about it. But according to the creator of Cardano, the new edition will revise previous content and include resources specifically for developers planning to create and deploy applications on Bitcoin network. Notably, Bitcoin developers will be able to use Aiken, a modern programming language and toolkit for developing smart contracts on the Cardano blockchain. Hoskinson also shared that the Babel fees, Bitcoin developers can develop hybrid Cardano Bitcoin applications using Aiken and pay their transaction costs in Bitcoin. He's quoted by saying, DeFi is coming to Bitcoin and it will dwarf anything Solana and Ethereum have done, he concluded. Now, the details here are going to be a little fishy if you're not a developer, if you're not necessarily into the crazy tech of cryptocurrency. Ultimately, Bitcoin had a problem in the crypto space where it did not have the ability to create these smart contracts to build Web3 on Bitcoin. Well, with the combination now of Cardano, they're absolutely looking like they're going to do it. They're doing it through a company called Bitcoin OS. I want to make sure I preface this correctly, though, as you understand, the news is big and the potential for the future is extremely large. But I don't know if necessarily this is the biggest impact on this bull market, meaning the 2024-2025 bull market. I'm wondering if this is something that you're going to see be a bigger impact down the road as they develop it more and more. Why? Because Ethereum and Solana already have such a head start when it comes to the smart contract space and how people are utilizing it in the everyday world. I'm not saying that Cardano and Bitcoin can eventually become something very big, but I do think this is something to keep an eye on to say, hey, it's not necessarily a big deal right now, but could be in the future. And the biggest reason I'm saying that is if you take a look at the charts right now, If this news was massive, Cardano would be much higher than it is at the moment. You can make the argument that Bitcoin actually is a bigger benefactor of this than Cardano, but I'd be very surprised that the reason why Bitcoin is breaking out all of a sudden is because of this relationship. But if it was really big news, we would see both Bitcoin and Cardano doing something really special. And when you look at Cardano, despite the fact that we are up over the last 4 days, it's nothing impressive. In fact, you guys can see Cardano's been trading over the last couple of months in a really tight zone between 30 and 40 cents. Until we make a breakout above that zone, Cardano really doesn't have anything to brag about in terms of price action. Another thing that you should be aware of is, again, as I said in the intro, just a couple of weeks ago, Charles Hoskinson was also talking about how Cardano was on pace to outdo Bitcoin and that eventually Bitcoin would no longer be needed. Of course, now he's changing his tune and saying, no, Bitcoin's now the future. This combination relationship between the two of them is the biggest thing in the world of crypto. And maybe he's right. But I do think that we should be fair to investors and say, hey, take this information with a grain of salt. Make sure you understand that this is something that's very interesting and could be very, very bullish long term. But at the moment, until we actually see the altcoin prices responding to it, do not necessarily get so excited and invest money into Cardano that really shouldn't be there, because at the moment, Cardano is still what I would classify as an underperforming asset. Doesn't mean it can't do well in the future. I'm not a believer that Cardano is dead. I still hold a nice sized bag of it. But I also live in the world of reality that we have to understand that emotional trading is what gets you wrecked more than anything else. And as much as I like Cardano and the team it has and what I think it can do in the future, I'm still very aware that this bull market is a bull market of institutional adoption, not just retail investors coming in, finding decentralized currencies that look very interesting to them. This is the one that institutions will control. And at the moment, I see the institutions gravitating way more towards the likes of Ethereum and Solana and Chainlink and AVAX and others. And Cardano probably gets left a little bit behind this bull market. Still see something closer towards a 10x, but nothing special like what we saw in 2021. I would love to be wrong, though, however. I would love to see Cardano reach new heights and go to 20x, 30x, 40x. I just don't think that's the most realistic prediction. That being said, next week, I will be releasing my Cardano price prediction for the bull market, where Cardano could be, whether we have an early top, a 4-year cycle top, or an extended market cycle. So make sure you tune in next week for that video. But with that said, let's check out the charts and see what's happening very briefly, because despite the fact that this news isn't sparking a whole lot of excitement on Cardano's chart, there's other reasons to be excited about both of these coins. Starting off with Bitcoin, as I mentioned, the time of recording this video, Bitcoin has surpassed 71,000. We're currently trading at 71,400, levels we haven't seen since way back here in June of 2024. I do want people to be very aware that there is a level of resistance at the moment where we currently are. We could get up here as high as $72,000 back to the peaks of June and still end up correcting after this order block. You're going to see, as you turn on oscillators as well, with lower time frames, you're going to see that we're getting overextended. In fact, we're printing 100% overbought levels on the RSI. A cool new indicator that will be released soon from the bros is a ultimate indicator that does give us the ability to see RSI levels on every time frame, every major time frame at any one given time. And you're going to see over here, with the exception of the 30-minute chart, the daily and the weekly, we're seeing a lot of oscillators right now printing massively overbought, being above or close to 70 on their RSI. This is a level that does say, while the bulls are in charge, they're losing some steam. They're overextended, and a correction wouldn't be the worst thing in the world. Well, if we're looking at that, where could we correct back down to after potentially a rejection of 72,000? I think coming back down to a breaker block back around 69,300, levels of resistance here only a couple of days ago would make a lot of sense. That being said, though, I want to make sure I'm prefacing this correctly for people, because if you go back and you take a look at the bull market that we had back here, even last year in October of 2023 through March of 2024, there were several signs of resistance, overextended price action that Bitcoin just exploded through. And the timeline of this move at some point is going to look a lot like, let me turn off Luxoggle here for a second, just to clear up some space. It's going to look a lot like what we saw back in the fall and early spring of 2021, fall of 2020, spring of 2021, where Bitcoin just went parabolic and stopped for no man. Be prepared for those moves. If we break above 72,000 and we sustain a significant amount of time above there, chances are no pullback will be required, just like this explosive move. But be prepared for either scenario. This is why you got to stay on the charts. This is why you got to have a plan no matter what happens. But right now, everything is looking very, very good for Bitcoin. I've even seen some price predictions being put out there that 85,000 could be happening within the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you more posted on that in our afternoon show this afternoon. But let's check in on Cardano. I mentioned before when I was talking about just the frustrating price action, really have been stuck between 30 and 40 cents ever since back here in August. You could even make an argument. You can go back to July and say we're stuck there with one bounce back up to 45 cents during that time period. But there is reason to be optimistic in the short term about the price action for Cardano. Not only after levels of lower highs and lower lows has Cardano kind of flattened out here around the 31 cent zone, we also were in a falling wedge pattern that we've broken out here, and we still have price predictions of moving back up here towards 53 cents. But this isn't the only thing I'm keeping an eye on. When I turn on the oscillators, we're very dangerously close to printing a buy signal where we have bullish divergence with higher lows in the oscillators, despite the fact that we have lower lows in our price action. We do have a purchase right here, a bullish momentum, and it looks like money flow wanting to turn positive. This would be very, very good for the space. But even longer time frame, if you go out to the 2-weekly chart, we are now printing a buy signal on the 2-weekly chart, where again we have bullish divergence, positive money flow, and bullish momentum. This alone right here would send the price action up here towards our smart contract coming in roughly around 70 cents. This is a price target that I think is very doable by the end of the year, possibly sometime even early December. But for right now, we're going to continue to monitor 53 cents is the next zone. If Cardano does start to move, I'm expecting 53 cents to be a target people should be watching. If that gets broken, all of a sudden now 70 cents comes back on the table. But something to keep an eye on even further out is the monthly chart. This is going to put us a lot further out here for the price action of Cardano. But we've actually secretly, people don't talk about this. In fact, it's something I'm just noticing over the last couple of days. We have been in a buy signal on Cardano's monthly chart ever since back in November of 2023, where we had a green reversal, we had bullish momentum, and the money flow even today is still positive. When you zoom out here, that date, November of 2023, was back here, October, November, back when we were around 24 cents in price per Cardano coin. Yes, we've had a big pullback. Yes, we rallied all the way to 80 cents, pulled back down, back towards 30, but that's still a higher low. And this buy signal, if it plays out correctly, has a target right now of easily getting closer towards $1.50. This is something that I'm going to be talking about the levels next week in my Cardano price prediction, where that timeline looks like for a potential $1.50 and higher prices coming for Cardano. But for right now, what you need to know is these longer time frames are looking ripe and ready for bigger moves, despite the fact that Cardano has been boring and sideways now for several months. If you are a Cardano holder, I urge you, do not give up on it just yet, but also make sure you're living in the world of reality and you're not overexposed to an asset that, again, more than likely is going to do something around a 5 to 10x, not necessarily a 20x into this bull market. Guys, that's all I have for you in this video. If you did enjoy it and if it was helpful, make sure to smash the like button and hit subscribe. Make sure to give me comments down below of what else you want to see, what other coins you want me to focus on with some updates for you. But with that said, I'll see you in the next one. Adios.